Okay, hey guys, as you already know, this week on Witches of the Moon is astrology, and as usual, I love my charts. Don't let it overwhelm you. You'll get it, you'll understand in a minute. So first off, with astrology, there's much confusion between astrology. Most people confuse, I should say, astrology. Where's my pen? Make this easier for me. Most people confuse astronomy, astrology, and then some people throw in astrotheology. They are different things. At one time, they all connect, but at one time, astronomy and astrology was exactly the same. There was no difference. But with the onset of other secret societies, other religions, astrology and astronomy got separated. And when astronomy, which as you see is just the arranging of the stars, astro means star, anomy, the other part, the anomy actually means arranging. So that'll help you break down some of these words. Astrology is just the language of the stars, or literally astro, which is star, and ology actually means speech. Now, I'm not going by the dictionary definitions here. I have to say that. I am going by the etymology, and if I talk too fast, just pause and rewind, okay? Because y'all know I talk fast. Now, again, when the secret society started and these religions started, when the secret society started, that's when astronomy and astrology got separated. Whereas astronomy was just the looking at the stars, the looking at the arrangements of the stars. And then looking at the arrangements of the stars, they noticed over time certain lineups cause certain reactions in the earth. And those reactions were considered the language of the stars, or the stars speaking to us. And that's where we get astrology, which is the language of the stars, or star speech. Now, from the language of the stars and noticing that certain lineups cause certain things to happen, and watching, this came over a while, obviously. It wasn't like a whole month period or a year period. This came over a couple of centuries doing this. They learned that certain lineups cause certain reactions. And from there came astrotheology, which astrotheology is technically a new term, but not necessarily astrotheology is technically a new term, but not necessarily a new practice. So, astrotheology basically is astro, meaning star, the from theo, meaning God, and ology obviously means speech. So it's the language of the star gods. Now, this is where you start to get, this is when you understand the word astrotheology, this is where basically every spiritual system connects back to astrology. Because you got these two, which birth this. All the spiritual systems connect back to astrology. It doesn't matter which one. Every god and goddess has some connection to some astrological constellation, sign, or planet. I mean, that's just my personal belief. That's from my research. Whether you believe it or not, it's totally up to you. But hey, okay. Now with that, I decided to throw in alchemy, because alchemy, true alchemy, connects back to astrology. And alchemy, when you break it down, al means the, chem comes from the word chemet, which means black, and the y is just a suffix that means having the quality of. So this means having the quality of the black, or having the black quality of, which basically goes back to chemet, which is what their science dealt with, which most people don't realize. They weren't animal worshippers. Their science heavily dealt with astrology too. So anyway, those are the three different ones. Now I'm going to touch on, obviously, astrology, which is the language of the stars. I'll touch on a little bit of astrotheology, so you can understand, because astrotheology is all around us. It's in, again, every religion. It's also played out in every really good movie, every really good book. It's played out in the midst of the gods, because again, this is the language of the gods. And true alchemy, again, deals with astrotheology and learning and working with those energies. So this part we're going to ignore from, this part goes with right here. This part goes with alchemy. Whereas when you look at the planets, Saturn is lead. And mind you, I'm sorry, I have the symbol. So it was easy to put the symbols and write out the words so I could fit everything in. So Saturn is lead. Jupiter is tin. Mars is iron. Sun is gold. Venus is copper. Mercury is quicksilver, or liquid silver, which is also known as mercury, the metal mercury, and the moon is silver. Now, this will come in handy when we get to the alchemy part. So let me move this chart and we will come back to this. Hopefully I didn't erase the other chart. Okay. Now, before we get to the top, let's go to the bottom. of this chart, which will help out a little bit more. Let me put my hand here so you can actually kind of see. Let me see if I got a book or something to block the... Nope, that book ain't... Is it big enough? If I turn it this way. I just want to block the shadow some so you can... There you go. So you can see exactly what you're reading. Now, when you're dealing with astrology, you're dealing with the yearly path of the sun, which is also known as the ecliptic yearly path of the sun. And when you take the path of the sun and make it 2D, this is what it looks like. Right here. So... and this little line right here that looks like an S is called a sine wave. And a sine wave is nothing more than a pulse of energy. The energy the sun gives off at these points is nothing more than a big pulse of energy. That's all that means, okay? Now, when the sun is at its highest point, it's right here, and this is why this is called the Tropic of Cancer. When the sun is at its lowest point, it's over here, and this and which is in the sign of Capricorn, and that's why this part is called the Tropic of Capricorn. These are very important signs parts to understand when you are dealing with astrotheology and also dealing with the celebrations. Why? Because in here, well, we don't really deal with Cancer anymore, except for in America, we do our 4th of July here. Cancer is known as the Great Birther. Cancer is known as the, what they call it, the birther of men, while Jupiter is the birther of gods. But I don't want to go too deep into that. But yeah, so when the sun gets here, it's at its highest point. This is when we have the summer solstice, July 4th, stuff like that. And when the sun is at its lowest point, this is where we have the winter solstice, and we also have Christmas, which I believe I explained a little bit about how Christmas connect in another video when we did. Either it's coming up or I already did it. I'm not really sure. So, because I'm doing all these videos, I did most of these videos at one time, and I actually had to redo this video because I couldn't find it. But getting back to this, okay. So this part is the sun. This is the part. Now, keep in mind, I'm going with the northern hemisphere, not the southern hemisphere. When you're dealing with astrology, it deals with the northern hemisphere. So this part is considered summer, or when you deal with astrotheology, it's heaven. And then this part is winter, or dealing with astrotheology is hell. Now, this and winter being hell is the reason why they always say, when you go deeper into studies, they always say hell is not actually hot, hell is actually cold. That's because hell is winter. And then summer is considered heaven. So, and in these signs, you have these signs. You have Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and then going towards into winter, or going towards the fall, will fall into winter is Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and then the actual winter is Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Now, again, when you're dealing with astrology, everything is fixed. Some people in astrology, because there's such a thing called a precessional slippage, where everything's like tilts a little bit after a while. Just to simplify it, it's much deeper than that, but I'm just simplifying it. But when you deal with astrology, everything is fixed. You don't deal with that at all. You just go with the how they fix it up. It's very easy to follow. Now, when you're dealing with astrotheology, so I want to come back to here before I go to this chart. When you're dealing with astrotheology and dealing with the different, and it doesn't really matter what religion, pick anything and it relates to this, you have to understand that in between each constellation, which is on the ecliptic, you have other constellations. And this is really the secret to a lot of different stories, a lot of different paintings, drawings, a lot of mythical creatures. This is the secret. Now, I didn't put all of the different constellations that are in between these main constellations. Just put someone that stand out to me. Like right in here in Cancer, you have the constellation, the Manger, also known as the Beehive. Now, remember I said Cancer is the birther. Now, I believe Beyonce calls her followers, or at least the website where her followers follow her, the Beehive. Why? Because she's collecting all the energy. She's birthing all the energy. Excuse me. When you deal with, Pegasus. I put Pegasus there because most people see a Pegasus. The Pegasus is always running on water. You know, the Pegasus, the horse with the wings, you always normally see it running on top of water. Why is that? Because Pegasus is in the constellation of, or the zodiac of Pisces. And Pisces is a water sign. That's why you always see the Pegasus on water. Lyra. Lyra is actually, it's a constellation, but it's also the story of, if anybody watched The Golden Compass, her name is Lyra. And I believe, I can't think of the movie now. It has something to do with werewolves and stuff like that. But I can't think of the name of the movie right now. But yeah, the chick from there was Lyra, or they were Lyrans or something like that with the wolves. It all deals back to astrology. Now, in most stories, in most main stories, you know, you have the person, who they are, they start thinking, they start feeling, you know, then they get energy, start to change, and they start realizing, around here is when they start realizing something is wrong. And that's when normally they fall, or they start again a fight, or they start seeking to find out what's wrong. And right here is normally when, in most movies, good stories, when they start to deal with the sign of Libra, that's when they start coming to, competition with other people. You know, the balancing skills back and forth normally always mostly causes a war sometime. So you normally have this, and then the villain is introduced right around here. And this is always where the main story takes place, because you have the villain, which is Libra, which has to balance the hero. You can't have a hero, which actually the villain makes the hero, because you can't have a hero without a villain. So then it goes into Scorpio, and Scorpio is where that part where normally they have their first battle, or they try to battle, and then they go into deep thought, because normally they always in Libra there's always a fall. They lose the battle, that first battle, and then, you know, they go in here, they go into deep thought, and somewhere in here, which is why I put in a fucus, because a fucus is actually between, and if you deal with 13 signs, you know, a fucus is the 13th sign, it's the healer, and a fucus is in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Scorpio is your desires, and Sagittarius is what you know. So between what you desire and what you know, there's a healing that takes place. And this is played out in every scene, every myth, every movie. There's a healing that takes place, and from that healing, they go back into battle, which is Sagittarius, which they're now battling the villain again, which the villain actually, in every movie, only represents the beastly side of that person, and this is why the villain has to be conquered. Once the villain is conquered, there's normally some type of rebirth, again, dealing with Capricorn, which also deals with Christmas, which deals with the winter solstice, when now the days that were longer, you get the longest day, longest night, and then it goes back up to over here to the sun, where the sun starts to grow, and the days get longer again. So, and in every story, the sun, the hero is always the sun. So in every story is the story of the sun. You got Samson and Delilah. Samson being sun, Delilah being Virgo. You know, she cuts his hair and then he falls, and then over here he pushes the pillars down and dies, and then he sacrifices himself. And the pillars is nothing more than the sign of Pisces. Anyway, you can get deep into every story when you start studying astrology. You can see the storyline over and over again. It's just the rise and descent of the sun. So with that being said, we're 13 minutes in. Let's get to the top of this chart. If I can. If I see I can get it to stay that way. Okay. Now, this chart is very confusing, but I'm going to try to go through it, one, kind of fast, and two, whatever. I'm going to try to go through it really fast. Now, when you're dealing with astrology, your houses always go this way. First house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, seventh house, eighth house, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now, the first house is ruled by Aries, but which is right here. This is the symbol for Aries right here. First house ruled by Aries, second house Taurus, the Gemini, and then again the birther, the mother, the one that deals with the nurture, how you grew up, and your ancestors is Cancer. That's the fourth house. Fifth house is Leo. Sixth is ruled by Virgo, and this just means that this is the majority of the energy in that house. That's what I mean by the house is ruled by it. That's the type of energy that's in the house, because you can have any planets in this house. So, and on and on and on and on and on. If you don't know, just look up these signs. You have Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Now, when going to this chart, these three right here, I'm going to switch up a bit, because this is where the alchemy comes in at, where I showed you the other chart. First of all, I have over here so you know your signs. So you know that this is fire, this is air, this is water, this is earth, for those of you who don't know. And then you have cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And in the chart, you'll just see C, F, and L. Cardinal is the creator or the door. Fixed signs or the or the preserver or the operator. They keep the energy going. And mutable sign is destroyer, but it's the destroyer of that sign. But that's actually a little bit misleading. Instead of just destroyer, the better word would be changer, because that's when you're changing into the other sign. So, so with that, when you're dealing with alchemy, you're basically going from, they tell you publicly that you're going from lead to gold. But actually, when you're dealing with alchemy, you want to go from lead to tin, because tin is actually finer than gold. And that's the highest level in alchemy, is actually tin, not gold. So, but when you're dealing with alchemy, and again, you can see most people write these stories play out too. First things first is you have to deal with earth. And this is why this area right here has a different set of numbers than this one, because when you're dealing with alchemy, you have to deal with the earth signs first when you're going from lead to gold. And first is Capricorn. Why? Because the Capricorn is the birther of the sun. Mind you, it's always about the sun. That's what astrology is about. Capricorn is the birthday of the sun. This is why you have Christmas, winter solstice. Well, you can't see it, but remember down here in the winter area, going back to Capricorn. So Capricorn is an earth sign. So you have the cardinal sign of Capricorn. So this means you really have to deal with your root chakras, your base instincts, how you feel. It's earth. So it's everything physical that you can physically see. You have to deal with all that. So you go straight from Capricorn to come over here. Where are you? To copper. So you go from how you use Capricorn, remember, you go from how you use, these are, I'm sorry, I'm getting this a little confused. I don't want to confuse y'all. This row right here tells you the key phrase for the particular sign. So when you're dealing with Capricorn, the key phrase is I use. And when you deal with alchemy, you're going with how you use things around you and when you look at how you use things around you, you have to go to the second phase of earth, which is Taurus. And Taurus is key phrases I have. Now, in dealing with I have, obviously that's your possessions, because now you're looking at how you use your possessions. And once you look at how you use your possessions, you go to the next phase of earth, which is Virgo. And Virgo is analyze. So basically, you go from using how you use your possessions to exactly what you have, and then you analyze whether you still need it or not. And that's how you balance that alchemy of going from lead to copper over here to Mercury, and that deals with Earth. When you're dealing with Earth, the highest level you're going to go with is Mercury. And then you go to the next number. So you have 1, 2, 3. That's Earth. The next level of alchemy is water. And water, deals more so with your emotions. So with water, and if you notice, they all line up. This is cardinal, this is fixed, it's just the operator, what you have, and this is mutable, because obviously once you analyze, things start to change. Oop. I am so sorry about that. Let me try to fix that. I'll turn you this way. There we go. My bad. Once you analyze stuff, things start to change. Now, I'm going to go through water, but then I'm going to stop with the alchemy, because then you kind of get the point. So with water, the first one is Cancer. Why? Because Cancer is the birther. Cancer is how you feel. So you start with how you feel, which starts with silver. And then on here, you're going to go to 10. Now, 10 actually is the highest, but I'm sorry, you don't go to 10. You go, I'm going this way, but you go this way. You always go this way. So you go from silver actually over here to iron. And you go from how you feel to what you desire, because what you desire is based on how you feel. And then you go from your desires to your beliefs, because what you desire also creates your beliefs. So basically, if you desire a car, then you have to believe that car exists. And therefore, getting that car, expands your mind into something. So you go from when you're dealing with water, this is all feelings, this is all emotions. And you go from how you feel to how you desire, what you desire, all the way over here to your beliefs. And this is when you're dealing with alchemy. So you go from silver to Mercury to 10. And again, 10 is one of the highest things you can go to. And you do the same thing with fire. And you do the same thing with air next. And then the next level is fire. And then once you go through fire, that's when you enter the ether, which is basically just the whole thing. And that's when you get into the highest level of alchemy. Now, again, I told you a lot of stuff to deal with astrology. So now, when you're dealing with the astrology chart, you have your different houses. And again, like I said, the different houses are ruled by the different planets. And this right here is not the rulers of the planet. This one, like I said, this deals with alchemy. This row right here tells you what rules the actual sign. So this house is the house of Aries. It's the first house. It's the I am that is ruled by Mars. This house right here is Taurus. It deals with your possessions. This deals with the self, and this is ruled by Venus. And just a short understanding of the house is the key phrase I have: your possessions. This house right here, which is going to the third house. The third house is obviously the house of Gemini, and Gemini is the great thinker. I think it's ruled by Mercury. This house deals with logics, siblings, and short journeys. All that deals with, your thinking. This house right here is the fourth house. It's the house of Cancer. It deals with your feelings. It also deals with, because the fourth house, it deals with nurture, and like you said, Cancer is the birther. Your birth from your ancestors. So it deals with your ancestors and also your home. This house is the fifth house. This is the house of Leo. And Leo is the sun. It's your will. It's your will. I also should have put it here, but it's also your ego. So you have to be careful. This is why I say you have to be careful. People say you have to control your ego. Yes, you have to control your ego because your will should always be directed. That's why your will is in between your feelings and your analyzation, between emotions and another form of thought pattern that'll help you direct the ego. Ego must be controlled and directed, but it is never to be denied, ever, because your ego is your will, and the will is the energy you need to do stuff. In this fifth house, you'll have casual sex, which helps create energy. You also have creativity. You have your children. You have romance. This all deals with the fifth house. Sixth house is Virgo, and Virgo key phrase is I analyze, which deals with Mercury. And you have in the sixth house, you deal with your work, your health, and your service. The seventh house is the energy is Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Most people don't know Libra is actually ruled by Venus, and it's the balancer. And it's also the first house that's outward. Let me go back for a second. From Aries to Virgo, this all deals with your inner life, your inner self. And from Libra to Pisces, this all deals with your outer self, your outer life. So this deals with you and how you interact yourself, your thoughts and your feelings. This deals from Libra to Pisces is how you interact with others and your outer life and how other people will see you. Okay? And then also, if you split the chart this way and this way, this section right here is your outer life and how you see the world. This section right here is your inner life, and how things affect you. So basically, in your chart, if you have more signs in this section, this means you're affected, but you're an inner person, but you're affected by other people. This one is your outer person. You're still an inner person, a proud person, but you're not affected by other energies. You affect other energies. And the same over here. This mostly you're affected by. I think I might have them flipped though, but this mostly you're an outer person, but you're not affected about how you're not affected by how other people feel about you. And this one, you're still an outer person, but you're affected by how others feel about you. Don't quote me on that one. I might have those quadrants backwards. Too much going through my brain right now. Okay, so back to Libra, you got the balance. You have marriage, partnerships, outward enemies, and twin flames. When dealing with twin flames, people, look at your seventh house. And, well, you can look at your seventh house and figure out the twin flames. I'm not going to put all that in this video. There's too many secrets. Eighth house deals with committed sex, legacies, the dark arts. Most people, and this is Scorpio, most people who are really into the dark arts have Scorpio either as their ascending or their sun. Has Scorpio basically as either ascending, sun, or moon. Is very strong in their chart. Also deal with legacies and insurances. The ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius, which is long journeys and expansion. Think about how Sagittarius is the arrow, and a centaur always shoot the arrow up. This house is Capricorn. Capricorn deals with public recognition, awards, and rewards. The key phrases I use. Key phrases Sagittarius is I know. And obviously desires goes with Scorpio. So this is I use. And obviously meaning I use, what you do depends, will get you your public recognition, your awards and rewards and all that. This house is Aquarius. And Aquarius is I understand. It's a big understander. This is the 11th house. It deals with your friendships, your social standings, your goals, your missions, your networks. Also, Aquarius is actually ruled by Saturn and Uranus. This symbol is Saturn, that's Jupiter. This symbol is actually Pluto, and that's Mars. So if you're pausing this video, you can understand the symbols. And then we go to Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Jupiter is also the big believer. So Pisces deals with meditation. It heavily deals with self-undoing. Because if you think of the Pisces, think of the fish, the two fish circle each other. And, you know, because the two fish are circling each other, it creates a vortex and a circle and a cycle. So that's where the undoing comes from. It also deals with past lives, and it deals with secret enemies. And this is your 12th house. Okay. So, all that may seem pretty confusing. When you get books, you know, there are great books that'll help out with this a little more. So, before I go any further, I want to go into, because this video is getting really long, I want to go into the deacons of each house. Now, the reason I want to go into the deacons of each house, and I have to pull this one back. Excuse me for a second. I have to pull this chart back dealing with the deacons, because deacons or deaconess are basically, you take the zodiacal wheel and you take one slice of it, and you take that slice and you develop into 30 little points, or 30 days, or 30 degrees. Each little line is a degree. Now, every 10th degree is a deacon. And then you split the deacons, and every 5th degree, you get what's called a dual deacon. Now, these degrees right here, and these 5th degrees is where you get your archangels and your lesser angels, or your angels of light. Excuse me. These also have to deal with, these also have heavily to deal why two people can be born in the sign of, which one's clearer? Two people can be born in the sign of Taurus, and be a Taurus sign, but not be the same at all. This is part of the reason why. Now, part of that reason why is because every 10th degree is ruled by a different sign. Now, all these deal with the earth houses. So the first 10 degrees deal with the ruler of this particular sign. And the next 10 degrees deal with the ruler of the next earth sign. So this one would be, your fixed earth. So next one will be mutable earth, which will be Virgo over here. And, nope, that's not right. What am I doing? You are 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And this deals with, I think I have this planet wrong. I might have this planet wrong. But either way, it goes like that. And that's where we have these 3 from. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm right. I'm looking at Saturn. And I'm like, that ain't right, because Mercury was Virgo. But yeah, when you're dealing with this, the second deacon, which is Mercury, deals with the Virgo energy of Mercury in the second house. So this means if you're born within the first 10 days of Taurus, your sun sign is heavily fully Taurus. But if you're born within the next 10 days of Taurus, then your sun sign, while it still has the Taurus energy, which is Venus, it has also a lot of Virgo in it too, or a lot of Mercury in it too. And then the last 10 days, or third 10 days, deals with the third sign, the mutable sign of the earth signs, which is, I need to blow my nose. I'm sorry, it goes back to the, not the mutable, this will go back to the cardinal sign of earth, which is Capricorn. And can y'all see that? Yeah, the cardinal sign, C for cardinal, Capricorn of earth. And this one's ruled by Saturn. Let's see if I do that a little bit. There we go. And that's ruled by Saturn. So anybody born in the last 10 days of the sign of Taurus will have a lot of Capricorn energy or a lot of Saturn energy. And this is why people born under the sign of Taurus can be totally different. Now, when you deal with your ascending sign is always the first house. So your first house, the first house of your ascending sign, this is the house of Aries, the I am. This is who you truly are. This is who you keep private. This, to me, in astrology, while most disagree, to me, this is the most important sign because this is who you truly are. Your sun sign is how others see you. Your moon sign is how you emotionally interpret the world around you and your intuition. And this is who you truly are. But also with the ascending, you also have a descending. So if this is who you truly are, then this over here is who you're truly not. And this is where you get caught up in your downfall. So if you're Aries, then you know you're all about self. So your downfall would be working with other people, which is the sixth house, which will be your health, your work, your services, how you analyze work with other people. Aries don't really analyze. They're always go, go, go. They're full of energy. They're ruled by Mars. They're very warlike. Iron is always associated, with Aries and energy and war. So you have those three. Now when you deal with, once you have this whole chart and you understand this chart, then when you start seeing like your sun here and your moon there and all these different signs, you can understand more of what it actually means and what energy is in that house and how you can use it. I don't want to go too deep because I don't want to give out all the secrets, but hopefully this helps.